So around this time of year, you usually start seeing teams start to trim the fat on their teams when it comes to like overpriced players and them trying to figure out what they want to do in free agency. And we're starting to see that with guys like Anthony Hitchens being cut. And we're going to talk about him in tomorrow's video. But for today, we're going to be talking about one player from the Atlanta Falcons who has connections with 3 Cowboys coaches who could possibly be coming here on a cheap deal, assuming that things pan out. So before we get into that, if you guys could do me a solid favor and like the video, it doesn't take too long to do. It helps it in YouTube's algorithm, and that'd be greatly appreciated. On top of that, there's a 60% chance that you're not subscribed to this channel. So if you are not, by all means, make sure to hit that big red button down below along with the notification bell as well alongside it so you get notified when videos come out and they hit your sub box. It's extremely important so you don't miss out. So Dante Fowler has had an interesting career thus far, bouncing around from several teams. So in case you're wondering, Dante Fowler was drafted by the Jacksonville Jaguars in 2015 pretty high up. We're talking about the 3rd overall pick. Now, of course, he hasn't been really worth that. He's bounced around between the Jaguars, missing his entire first year due to an ACL injury. He had a sort of productive career there, but not 3rd overall pick worthy. He then got traded to the Rams in the middle of 2018 for a 3rd round pick, a compensatory, or rather, some form of a 3rd round pick where it had some outliers in it. He had a career year in 2019 with 11.5 sacks, but then he went on to Atlanta where he had 2 mediocre seasons, and now he has been released by the Atlanta Falcons. Now, with that being said, the question is would the connections make sense? So in case you're wondering, where Dante Fowler has connections with, obviously Dan Quinn, he was a part of that regime pretty much that gave Dante Fowler the contract he got with Atlanta. You also have Aiden Durded, however you pronounce his last name. I'm not really big into the pronunciation game. And Joe Witt Jr. So there was connections with 3 Cowboys head coaches, and there they are. So look, I understand that Dante Fowler has not had the most impressive career. However, I do believe Dante Fowler is someone that you should take a look at. Now, I'm not the first person that has talked about this. I have several friends of mine, especially on Twitter, that have talked about Dante Fowler being a part of a reunion with the Cowboys. I mean, I don't know what you guys feel. Put that in the comment section. I would say this. He would be kind of based off of the market value, you're probably looking at a $4 to $6 million 1 to 2 year contract. And I think what you get with him is a solid player, but it comes down to health. And I think that if you're Dallas, a 1-year contract similar to that of a Keanu Neal-esque contract could not, it's not going to hurt you. But my biggest thing is that when you look at what Dante Fowler brings to the table, he is a hurt guy. I understand that. However, you need to keep your options on the table. I think that you have some familiarity there. Even if you do pick up Dante Fowler, this should not, by any stretch of the imagination, prevent you from drafting an edge rusher with the first pick that you have in this year's draft or any of those picks. I want to make that emphatically clear. So, when you look at his production, especially of recent, very mid. However, I think that, again, you're getting a guy that can be semi-productive given the circumstances, but I'm not looking for that 3rd overall pick kind of guy. I'm looking for someone that could step in and be a rotational piece. And I think that Dante Fowler could be a starter depending on if Randy Gregory comes back. And I don't think we need to go ridiculously crazy. I think that, you're not saying you got to cut anybody for him. But I think he'd be one of those guys like a Keanu Neal-esque signing, like I said. Someone that's had some form of an injury history that, you could probably try to get something out of, but you'll probably have someone outperform him. But the connections are there, ladies and gentlemen. I'm really curious to hear what you guys have to say about this possible signing in Dante Fowler. By all means, make sure to have that down in the comments section below. And that go ahead, that pretty much wraps up today's video. I don't want to go on a long time talking about Dante Fowler. There's no reason to elaborate on him anymore. But you're getting a guy that is sort of productive. He has shown glimpses of being very good, but not really. I mean, he's only had 2 seasons where he's had 8 sacks or more, and that was going on now 3 years ago. So I think that, if there's a guy that can get the most out of him, it is in fact Dan Quinn. But then again, Dan Quinn was the head coach. I think that him as a defensive coordinator, it would be a lot different. So, we'll see how things go. Outside of that, that's all for me today. By all means, make sure to leave a comment on what you think about this. Do you think Dante Fowler is worth bringing himself here to Dallas? We'll talk about Anthony Hitchens tomorrow because that is another player that I'm keeping an eye out on. So we'll just see how this goes, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I'll catch you guys later. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.